We are joined by attorney Jeff O'Brien with our weekly 3 and Out, 3 sports stories, usually, and that's what it is today. We talk about the, usually the 2 D1 teams. One is done now. St. Thomas is done playing. Gophers the other one, and the D3 team, what I consider the best D3 team in the state. No offense to Bethel, but the Johnnies have a long history of success, 3 national titles. Unfortunately, Bethel has none. But before we get to that and the fact that the road continues to the national championship for the Johnnies, hey, did Bethel win too? I didn't even look that one up.
Yeah, they did.
Okay, so they both have a shot at being national champions. However, let's talk about your Gophers. They went to Wisconsin. They didn't go to Wisconsin. They stayed here. They played here in a snowstorm and won. Whoop-de-doo. Now, I want to know, this is the big breaking news that could be happening. Did P.J. Fleck get his contract extension yet? For winning the Axe and getting to, 7 wins?
Yeah, they got 7 wins. They get the Axe, and now they wait till Sunday. They'll find out which 3rd, 4th tier bowl game that they'll play in this year.
I heard that the announcers afterward, I think it was Mike Grimm and Darryl Thompson, and maybe their sideline guy talking about they'll go to a warm weather place. So they were able to, apparently getting that win helps them avoid going to Detroit. Because they won't be the last place or one of the last teams to get a bowl.
Well, that's, I guess, good, right?
Yeah, but I mean, the warmer place could be like going to play Memphis, or someplace. I don't really care where they go because I'm not really caring to watch. And I know they'll treat it like they won a national championship. They always do, and that's probably when more likely Fleck will get his contract extension. Other top coaches get fired, the top coaches. That's why LSU was open and Penn State was open and others. But he will get a contract extension for probably being a middling, a coach of a middling team and, frankly, I think a middling coach. But
and the fan base, Bob, has just become conditioned to this. I saw it all over social media. Everybody making a big deal. Oh, we got the Axe. But again, when I was growing up and following the Gophers, there were 3 trophies. There was the Little Brown Jug with Michigan, which was a rarity if they ever got it. It was a big deal. I remember in '86 when Ricky Foggy and Darryl Thompson were playing, and Chip Lohmiller won it on a last-second field goal when Michigan was number 2 in the country. That was huge when they get the jug. It usually lasts for about a year, and then it goes back. The Floyd of Rosedale, the pig, Iowa, that was always the big rivalry and the big trophy. And it seems like ever since the Barry Alvarez era in Wisconsin, there's been this focus on Wisconsin and the Badgers. But the Badgers have been struggling the last few years. So to run around and brag about how you beat Wisconsin and won the Axe for like 4 times in 5 years, that's becoming commonplace. So it's not really a thing anymore.
Yes, but when you don't have the jug and you don't have the pig, that's what you do.
Exactly. Like I said, the fans have been conditioned to thinking that winning the Axe is good enough and going to a bowl game. And it's like, like we said, after the Nebraska win, you looked at the schedule and we both said they should win 9 games. They'll lose to Oregon. And instead, they got blown out by Iowa. They needed overtime for Michigan State. They lost to Northwestern, and they won a sloppy game against Wisconsin. And they end up with 7 wins. But it is what it is. They're going to be where they are.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Now, here is what is. The Johnnies move on in the Division III championships, as does Bethel. Johnnies will face number 3 River Falls next week after a 49-15 win over Monmouth at home, and now they'll go on the road to River Falls because they're the lower seed. But I mean, this Johnnies team is very good, and so is Bethel. I can't discount that either. That's a very good team. They did beat the Johnnies, but we'll see which one goes deeper into the postseason. And I just, I do have a tie to St. John, so I got to be, full disclosure. My son graduated from there with a degree in finance, and he also played rugby for 3 years. So I'm, I have often said that I had 2 coaches of all the coaches I've covered, my 2 favorite, and I break it down to a pro division and a college division. It was Jerry Burns, the former Vikings coach, and John Gallardi, who was just a great guy to talk to. And if there's a current college coach. I like Glenn Caruso. I think he's I like him, and I like John Tower, the Tommies coaches. But I haven't gotten, and obviously the rugby coach at St. John's, but I don't really know the basketball coach. Maybe I should get to know the basketball coach at St. John's. And I like the Johnnies coach too, but I don't know him as on a personal level as much as I do the Tommies coach. And I know that a lot of this, in some people's minds, I still had Johnny's Tommy rivalry. But you can't deny Glenn's a good coach.
Yeah.
And
Well,
John Tower is doing a great job with the Tommies in D1 basketball.
Well, yeah, speaking of that, I know that there is going to be an exhibition game between the Tommies and the Johnnies in basketball at the new arena this year.
Well, that's great. Good.
They just don't play in football or anything else anymore. But yeah, Bethel beat Coe, so they play University of Wisconsin-Platteville next week. Now, Bethel, just so final rankings, kind of know where everybody stands here. St. John's opponent, UW-River Falls, ended the season at number 3. Johnnies were number 7. Bethel was number 4, and Platteville was 10. So I think that
so Bethel will host.
Bethel gets a home game.
Yep.
I think the Johnnies will be on the road to River Falls, and will be the visiting team.
Well,
so we'll see. But the big thing out of the Johnnies bracket too, Bob, is Whitewater lost.
Oh, and what were they ranked?
They were. Let's see where they were. They were at 11.
But they've been a perennial good team. But that 11 means they've got a couple of losses.
Yeah, but they were playing DePaul, which was at 15, and DePaul beat them.
And you know what? In D3, the rankings when you get into the postseason don't carry a lot of weight because it's a lot of guesswork.
It's only important is for seeding in the brackets. But with Whitewater, for a long time it was Whitewater and Mount Union that were the two powerhouses. Mount Union's still in it, but for Whitewater to be out after their first game was kind of a
that's a great point. Doesn't usually happen. Now, quick question for you. You're representing Carl Eller. We talked last week about this. Some vermin site, they put Vikings on it, and they try to get clickbait. So you click and they make money off of ads. Claim that Carl had passed, which is far from the truth. He's alive and well. Mm-hmm. You're representing him. Is there anything that's happened over the weekend? He had mentioned you're going to be talking to his wife and Carl today. You're still doing that. You're still moving forward on this, right?
Yeah, I'll be talking to him today. There's no developments over the weekend. I did find out. It sounds like from some comments on my post about it on Facebook that they did the same day. I think it happened to Jerry Kramer and then Steve Tasker from the Bills.
Jeez.
So yeah,
I think it's a site. Well, I don't know, but it might be a site that are people that own sites in a lot of cities. That they're trying to do the same thing.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Do you have the name of which this one is so people can stay away from it? I stay away from all those Viking fan sites because they all put headlines that make no sense. They try to suck you in.
Yeah. Viking Nation Daily was this one.
Viking Nation Daily. Okay.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen anything recently from them.
Yeah. The pages you have. What I would say is this: the fan pages, you have to be careful on social media about. There are fan groups on Facebook.
Well, the pages where you have to click something to read a story, stay away from those because they will try to suck you in. I mean, they signed Desmond Ridder or John Wolford. They tried to make it sound like they're getting this all-pro quarterback. Fans excited. Right. Nobody gives a hoot. I almost put something else there on that the Vikings have signed a journeyman. And it's just, it's horrible. All right, keep us posted on that. Jeff O'Brien, take a quick break. The BS Show will be right